How you guys doing? Thanks for going on to our YouTube channel, Mr. and Mrs. Lopez. Today's gonna be a talk about medical school, about 5 things that I did to get to where I'm at today. I just finished my first year of medical school. I'm on the summer between my first and second year. I'm loving it so far. I'm loving the summer, obviously, but I'm loving medical school as well. The first year was great. Had a lot of classes that taught me so much. And I'm just loving my journey to becoming an MD. So I hope you guys are doing well. Enjoy this video and just listen along. So right now, I'm gonna talk about not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 things, okay? 5 things that allowed me to get to where I'm at right now as a medical student, that allowed me to enter into a medical school of my dreams, honestly. And so these 5 things are not gonna work for everybody, but I would say for the majority of people, for the majority of you watching this, if you have these things, I'm telling you, you're gonna get somewhere in life, okay? Medical school is not easy. Medical school is not something that everyone aspiring to be a doctor will get into. It's just not the reality, you know? But there is things that you can do, that you can get on your application, that you can have in your heart and in your mind and in your spirit that will allow you to propel forward to become that dream of becoming a doctor. So I'm so glad you guys tuned in. This is gonna be an awesome and informative video. So the first thing, numero uno, that I highly suggest, and everyone knows this, is a good GPA. Why did I put GPA before another type of number thing called the MCAT? Well, because the GPA is a span of obviously your whole university timetable, I say, you know? It's a span of your timeline throughout the course, whether you went to community college, whether you took some courses abroad, or whether you took some courses just 4 years solely in a university. My schedule, my plan, my life was a little different. I went to community college for 2 or 3 years actually, and then I went to university. So my timeline's a little different. I actually spent 4.5 years in undergrad getting my bachelor's degree in biomedical sciences. So I would say GPA is by far the most important, okay? You gotta have a good GPA. What's competitive to me and to what I've been listening to and to all my friends that are applying to medical school and that are in medical school and talking to the administration over at my school and knowing some at other schools, the competitive GPA that you would want to have is a science GPA of a 3.5 to 3.6. That is competitive. Okay, if you have higher, then you're highly competitive. If you have a little lower, let's say a 3.3, 3.4, don't die. I know friends, best friends that are in right now because they've had a 3.3. It's possible. Anything is possible, and that's what I'm trying to show you guys right now. But you have to have other things, not just your GPA. But GPA is so important. So if you're a freshman, sophomore, senior, just focus on your grades. Okay, focus on your grades. If you got 1 C or 1 D, don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. There is plenty of doctors out there that got some grades other than A's and B's, let me tell you, okay? And I am one of them. My GPA was pretty good, okay? I did have a C in the class. I don't remember what it was, but I did have a C or 2, but my GPA was very superb. I wouldn't lie on that one. It was pretty good. I have a testimony for another score that wasn't that good called the MCAT, and that is number 2. So we already went over number 1, GPA, necessary. You need a good GPA to be competitive. Number 2 is MCAT score. The MCAT is so heavily weighted on medical school entrance. I have no idea why. This test is a standardized test, and I can't even think about it right now because I don't like it. Okay, obviously I didn't do that good on it because of the way I'm talking, but it's just a standardized test, and it's something that just measures your capability of sitting down for 5 hours. Now it's what, 6 hours or something like that, and sitting down and taking a test that realistically, if you studied some of the stuff that they're testing that day, oh, you're gonna do great. But what if you have a lot of weak spots, but a lot of strengths as well, and they test on the weak spots? And that's why I don't think it's fair. I think they should weigh more highly on the GPA aspect than the MCAT, and some schools do. Like my school, they take a well-rounded individual, and a lot of other ACGME accredited medical schools across the United States do that as well, and overseas and DO schools as well do that. So MCAT is very important, okay? Try to get the average score. My score was below average, okay? But I had that high GPA. So the way I look at it is like a balance beam. Okay, you have your MCAT, you have your GPA, and then we have these other things that I'm gonna talk about. We have 3 more things. But the MCAT and GPA are like the balance beams, baby. That's how I like to think about it. So you got your GPA right here and you got your MCAT right here. And mine, my GPA was way up here, but this balance beam was perfect. I mean, my GPA was up here, my MCAT was kind of below average, it was. But I got in because they saw that even though this one time I sat in on a 5-hour exam was below average score, my GPA was kick butt. I mean, it was really good. But some people have a really good MCAT, but maybe they have a 3.1 GPA. Well, you're not screwed. You're not gonna not become a doctor. I believe you can get in. I believe you will get many interviews, and you just gotta kick butt in your interviews to get into medical school. So it's like a balance beam. And then some people that are blessed and they're gifted, and that's awesome. I have a buddy that killed both of them, killed the GPA, got a really good GPA, and they got a really good MCAT. So there's really no need for a balance beam there. But you see what happens is if you have both high, then you need to have some other things that we're gonna talk about in that list of 5 that's gonna help them out as well, and you out if you have a high GPA and a high MCAT. So high GPA, competitiveness, okay? Great MCAT, competitiveness, or an average MCAT, an average GPA. You can work with it, okay? You can work with it, but still work hard to do what you want to do. Number three. So 1, GPA, 2, MCAT. And the third thing is 3 things. The first out of those 3 things is research. The second is shadowing, and the third is community service. So research. Why do I not put that above GPA? Why do I not put that above the MCAT? It's research. Oh my gosh, this thing called medicine can't even be done without research. This thing called cancer medicine can't even be done without research. Oh well, you don't need it. Sorry to bang your bubble. If you have it, cha-ching. If you don't, it's okay. I didn't. I just published a research right now in medical school, but I didn't even do 1 lick of research in undergrad. I just didn't. But I'm in medical school and I know tons of people, tons, I'm talking about tons of people that are in medical school without doing research. Okay, they like it if you have it. Probably won't even ask you because they care about other stuff more important. Other schools will ask you. Some schools won't ask you. And other schools will weigh really heavy on research. So you just gotta do your research. No pun intended, do your research on the schools on whether you should have research or not. Shadowing and community service. So community service is so important. It's really important because they want to see what you are doing to invest in your community. Because being a doctor is all about people. I don't care what school you go to. You can go to Harvard, okay? You can go to Johns Hopkins. I don't care what Ivy League school you go to. It's about a patient, okay? Being a physician is about a patient. It's not about a rat. It's not about a lab rat. It's not about chemicals, okay? You need to know the medicines. You need to know the pharmacology. You need to know the pathology, but that will come. But they want to see, is this person really made to be a doctor? Is this person really going to sit in on a patient and try to tell them and explain to them, maybe they have stage 3 cancer, okay, maybe they have a lymphoma or a melanoma, but something could be so small as a high blood pressure, and you have to tell the patient, and you have to say it in a way that's patient-centered. You know, you can have all these high scores, but if you're not human, if you're not empathetic, if you're not sympathetic, then they don't really like that. And this is for the majority of med schools, okay? Some will just take you regardless of who you are. You could be a robot. They just want a high MCAT and a high GPA, you're in. Some research and you're in, but that's not the case. So Community service is very important. What I did, you can do anything. It doesn't have to be health related. I went to middle schools and I played football with underserved middle schoolers. I was part of this thing called FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I became the vice president of it. I actually made the club with my friend. And it's actually not that hard to make a club in a university, believe it or not. So if you make a club, that'll look awesome. But there's other things that I did. I fed the homeless. I mean, who doesn't do those things, right? So just do things like that. You're good to go. Shadowing is a different thing. When I say shadowing, I do mean shadowing a physician. I do mean volunteering at a hospital. I also mean maybe just volunteering at a clinic, just seeing X-rays done, seeing ultrasounds done. You don't really have to see a patient to be shadowing. This is all medical knowledge, and they're seeing what is this person doing in the medical field to see what they like, or what is this person, this student doing in the medical field to expand their knowledge in medicine. They want to see that you want to learn. That's all they want to see. Okay, so community service doesn't have to be about health, but they also want to see a shadowing opportunity that you had that does have to do with health, with medicine, in a lab, but with patients, shadowing a physician, just going over basic things like histories, seeing physicals. They want to see that you're opening to learn, because as a doctor, you're constantly learning. You're constantly taking these things, these journal articles, these new medicines, and learning about them. So it's an ongoing learning career. So if you don't like learning, this is not the best career for you, but I'm pretty sure you do if you're watching this video. So that's 3, right? So we have GPA, MCAT, community service, and shadowing. Number 4, this is very important. This is passion for being a doctor. You see, when I wrote my personal statement, I remember it was almost the last sentence of my personal statement. When you apply for medical school, there's going to be a personal statement that you have to write that goes to every single medical school. It's one statement that describes why you want to be a doctor, why you want to enter the field of medicine. And I remember the last 2 sentences I put in there, and I brought this because I want to show you guys. I put in there that I see myself in a few years with a stethoscope around my neck and a white coat on, looking back at a patient in the hallway saying, "Thank you, Dr. Lopez," and giving me a hug. And then I went on to say, I can't imagine doing anything else. I want this just as bad as I want to breathe. And I clearly remember that statement I put in there, because that is so true. If I didn't become a medical student, if I'm not going to become a doctor, I was telling myself I can't see myself doing anything else. And if that's your mentality right now, listening to this video, you're meant to be a doctor, and I totally believe that. If you can't see yourself being a PA, seeing an NP, a nurse practitioner, being a vet, being an engineer, being a nurse anesthesiologist, being a tech in a hospital, being a waitress, being a business, being a lawyer, if you can't see yourself doing any of that other stuff, and if you can see yourself being a doctor for the rest of your life, then I think this is for you. But you have to show that passion when you're writing in your personal statement, when you're going in for your interviews. You have to show that you want this just as bad as you want to breathe. Okay, so passion is the number 4. And honestly, I think it should be number 1, because when you have passion to be a doctor, you'll get a good GPA. Or if you don't have a good GPA right now, the next classes that you'll take, you'll put in all the work to get A's, because you have the passion and drive to do this thing we call a physician. If you have the passion to be a doctor, your MCAT score will show it, and that's what I believe. And guess what? If it doesn't show it, then when you go in for an interview, your lips, your words will show it, your actions will show it, your eyes. My eyes in my interview got teary-eyed because I was showing them that I wanted this thing so much that I would do anything to be here. I'll fight for this spot if I have to. I want to be here more than anybody else wants to be here. And you have to show that. So passion is really important. Number 5. I think number 5 in my life was the most important thing that allowed me to be where I'm at today. If I were to tell you guys my story on life, and I'm gonna have another video on that, but my story on life is a little different than a lot of my classmates, than a lot of other people entering the field of medicine. My life was basically coming to ruin, okay? So that's a quick story, a quick synopsis, a quick summary of my life. Okay, there was no way Mr. Daniel Lopez was gonna be a doctor. No way, Jose, no way. If I were to tell you my friends, no way, no way. Right, but there's this thing that I always had inside of me, but then I really transformed my life and understood that there was something or someone higher than me. And I believe that this is number 5, and it allowed me to get into medical school. Because I believe that if you understand that you are only capable of so much, and that there has to be someone higher than you controlling the ropes, then you'll be fine. You see, I had this thing of that, man, it was all me, it was my GPA, it was my MCAT. I'm the one sitting and doing this MCAT. I'm the one sitting in those classes every day, busting my butt till 2 o'clock in the morning, studying my butt off. I'm the one shadowing these hours. I'm the one doing community service. I'm the one driving to the middle school after my long day of classes to play with these kids that don't have food on the table. I'm the one doing all this. So I can get into medical school. I'm the one doing this. It's me. It's all Daniel. But until I put those things aside and realized, man, after about 6 months of not hearing back from one medical school, I realized that, man, it's not about me. It's not Daniel doing this. It's not Daniel doing the GPA, doing the MCAT. It's not. There's someone higher than me, and it's God. There is a God. Okay, there is a God. I'm in medicine right now and I see the anatomy. I see the human body. I see the microanatomy and the physiology and the biochemistry. And it is just so amazing how perfect the body is. There has to be a creator. And my creator is Jesus. And I hope you take something away from this today, friend. I hope you take away that there is a creator in the universe that's created all this, that's created you. And you have the opportunity to be his child, and his name is God, his name's Jesus, and he is real. I've done history studies, I've taken Bible classes, and there is just nothing that fights against the claim that can withstand, that says that there's a God. I'm just saying that I'm in medical school, and this thing called medical school even improves my faith. It even increases my faith tenfold. Because there's just nothing as perfect as the human body. And if you read the Bible, it says that we're made in God's image. We're made in God's image. So how can I not believe there's someone else higher than me pulling the ropes, doing the things behind the scenes when you're asleep? He's doing it all for you. He loves you. He wants you to be successful. He wants you to get that good GPA. He wants you to get that good MCAT. He wants you to do all those shadowing and community service. But beyond that, there's more than that. This life is not just about getting into medical school. This life is about saving people's eternal soul. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to show you guys that there is a God out there that loves you and that wants you to be a doctor. Yes, he does. But he wants you to be a doctor for more of the purpose than you probably want to be a doctor. Not for the money. Not for the big fancy cars or the big nice house. Yeah, that stuff's great. But at the end of the day, when you put your head on the pillow, where are you going to go if you're not waking up tomorrow? Are you going to be living? Are you going to be dirt in the ground? And these are questions that you have to ask yourself. You know, being a person that wants to go to medical school, don't you want to ask questions? I'm the first person to ask questions in class. I love questions. Ask yourself, man, what am I? In this big old earth, I'm an ant. I'm nothing, I'm nobody. I'm nobody. But you know, if you ask yourself deeper that question, you are somebody. You're a child, you're a creation of the Most High God. And that is why I am in medical school today. My MCAT was super below average. My GPA was pretty good. I drank a lot of alcohol, I did a lot of drugs, a lot of things. Okay, but there was one thing, one person that allowed me to be here today, and it's God. And there's one person that's that the reason why you're watching this video, it's not because you want to get into medical school. It's because you seen something in the title that wanted you to click this, but maybe that was God making you look at the title and say, you know what, I want to click this video. It looks pretty different. It looks interesting. And maybe God's speaking to you right now and saying, you know what, I want you to understand that maybe you have a lower GPA, maybe you have a lower MCAT, maybe you're comparing yourself to all your friends and all these people that are in your class that you think they're going somewhere and you're not. No, He wants to show you that you are going somewhere. Whether you become a doctor or whether you become a garbage man, you are somewhere and someone to the Most High God. You are and can be His child. So I just have these 5 things that I did. And to me, the 5th one, why I saved it for last, is the most important. And it's having faith in the Most High God. It's believing in someone higher than yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. Love you guys so much and take care. If you have any questions, comment below, please, and I will be happy to answer any of them.